You know, when you go into a Western scene and then there's a tumbleweed that goes across, and you think of this sleepy Western town, it's my town, man. It's my town.
Foul against New York at the edge of the 18. Toronto with a chance to take the lead in the 80th minute. Out the door, saved by Robles! Parries it away to his left.
Biggest moment of the game, and Robles, stone cold save. Brilliant by Robles.
Red Bull fans and supporters and the community always get to see me on TV, and today they get to see a completely different part of me, and it's sort of where it all started. But more importantly, pay tribute to the people that have really been the driving force behind all of this. My dad loved coaching us in baseball. And I think one of the saddest days in his life was when I was 14 years old and I was trying out for the baseball team, and the varsity coach knew that I was involved in competitive soccer and on a club team, and he was the one that told me I had to make a decision. In my dad's mind, he probably thought, this is a no-brainer, you're going to play baseball. But in my mind, it was different. And I loved playing soccer because my best friends played soccer. I was probably, at the time, I was definitely better at baseball. There's no doubt about it. I was better at baseball. But the thing I kept going back to is my best friends played soccer. When I think about my youth, when I think especially about high school and youth soccer at that time, every memory is entwined with my three best friends: Sean Malarchik, Tim Nottingham, and Miguel Bonte. Sean, I met when I was in 5th grade. We met when we were playing All-Star Baseball, and it was because of Sean that this whole thing came together. Even at a younger age, in 6th grade, Sean said he wanted to play competitive soccer, he wanted to play travel ball. At that time, it meant nothing to me. He said that he was going to go try out for this competitive soccer team, and I just wanted to tag along, go where Sean wanted to go, and do what Sean was doing. Well, Sean was really good at soccer, and I was not. And when we went to this tryout, right away I could see that Sean was one of the best players out there. And right away I knew that I was really going to struggle to make this team. I didn't think that I'd get cut so quickly. The coach after the first day just said, you know what, it was a nice try, Luis, but I think you're better off playing baseball. And so I was, I think, 11 or 12 at that time. But a couple weeks later, he'd call me back and said, hey, you know, if you play goalie, you could be on the team. And that's where it all started. Tim, I met eventually in 7th grade, I believe, because he made the team, and he's such a character, and he was very aggressive, very good. And then Miguel was really the best of the lot. If you had to rank us as far as quality, it'd go Miguel, Sean, Tim, and then quite a distance, and then me. I mean, we were a ragtag bunch, a sandlot bunch, if you will. And we were competitive, but more than anything, it was just fun. And it was the fun factor that kept me coming back to soccer. And even now, I know that it's different because it's a business, and it is about results, and it's about taking this franchise to levels that it's never been and trying to win a championship. But the thing about the game is it's still fun. The group of us realized that if we wanted to be more serious about this and compete at a higher level, we had to start making the trip to Tucson. Basically every other day, our parents, who were also committed to the entire process, would drive us up to Tucson, an hour and a half there, and then of course an hour and a half back. Wolfgang Weber is a Tucson soccer legend. He's considered the godfather of all things soccer in southeastern Arizona. The first 2 years that we started making that trip up to Tucson, the club was called Tucson United. And it was not until my junior year that Tucson United transitioned to morph into Tucson Soccer Academy. And that had always been Wolfgang's dream, to create the sort of soccer academy that was performing at a high enough level that sooner or later they were going to develop a player that would go on to the professional level and I'd go on to the international level. It turns out I'm that player. But But in the process, there's no way I could have thought that I was going to be that player. There's no way that I thought, even with all the hours that we put into it, that I would be the first.
I met Luis when he was 15 years old. He and 3 of his friends, they lived in Sierra Vista, and they came to Tucson to play with the Tucson Soccer Academy. So basically, I had him on my team from age 15 until 18 when he went off to college. And what was remarkable is that all 4 of them, were really dedicated and real determined, and you just have to look at the fact that they had to travel an hour and a half to come to Tucson, an hour and a half back, and they did it every Tuesday, every Thursday, every weekend for the games, tournaments, and I can't ever remember that any one of them, and certainly Luis, never missed any of those practices or games, so there was a real dedication.
But every day to be in a car after school with my 3 best friends, drive up and play soccer and then drive back, and just being teenagers, man, that was the best. Like, honestly, if it wasn't for those 3 guys, there's no way I could have kept this thing going. All right, because look at this drive, I mean, 75 miles there, 75 miles back. Like, as a teenager, you want to go and hang out with your friends and go out to the parties and do whatever it is that teenagers do. But I was very fortunate that I got to hang out with my friends every single day through soccer.